games to go.
And it would take a lot, right, for, say, your teams like Elgig and the Swarm, especially with Swarm having so many wins and we're seeing better games from them. But 3D Max, right, they've risen up in a quite successful way in the sense that we've seen them multiple times now within the top 4 over the last week, which is not what they showed us on week 1. But what a lot of our teams have to show us is how many of these placement points they can grab. It's 1.1 kill. You can see the rest of it, how it goes down, but it's only the top 8 that'll be happy with their position overall.
And it's just, I mean, we've seen so many times where you have a game that really, really, really goes far into it, and you have a lot of teams with very few players left alive. So you can go all the way down to, I don't know, I think the lowest we've had so far is 22 players alive and still have 9 teams remaining. If you're at 22 people alive with some of the crazy circles we've seen, especially on Miramar, and you'd go out, you're like 9th place. Are you kidding me? No points from all of those rotations? That's difficult, but that's the point system, and it's really, really, really putting these guys into tough positions. And
this is where I'm scared for some teams, honestly, Toby, because Miramar has not been a map, where we say, oh, this one team's been super good all the time. This has been the real kind of just anything can happen at any moment. Now, as always, guys, 4 games coming your way. These are the last 4 games for Group B. This is your final day to watch it all go down before we eliminate 8 teams. But to continue what I was saying there, the whole Miramar problem is that no one really can sit there and comfortably say, well, I can get all these games. I can get the points we need here today. And that's where some of these teams are going to be sat there probably shaking in their boots.
And the thing is, a lot of teams, as you say, because we haven't had that one team to step up, a lot of teams can at least say, we have had that game. We've had that one game where things just worked out. We got the kills, we got the placements, we got everything we wanted. Now it's just a matter of us somehow getting back into that same motion we had in that one game and do the exact same thing. But we talked about it as well. On the first Miramar day here, there were just crazy circles. And even when the circles weren't crazy, the endings were anyway. We go center, but still into Picado. Nope, we got on the other side. And then Winside almost threw that one against, I believe it was Tornado Energy. Just crazy, crazy games coming through this one. So how much can you really take away when a lot of those circles and the way they shifted were completely like, that's never, ever going to happen again type scenarios. We'll see as the first game comes to a start. Boy, oh boy, 4 more games and 8 of these guys will be done and dusted.
And then we've got to repeat this all over again. Another 4 weeks of craziness to come your way. So plenty of action here for PUBG Europe Contenders, as well as the main PEL at the same time. So you will not want to be missing it. So make sure you drop that follow on the Twitch channel. Make sure you continue to tune into all the action. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen at home, we do have the map stream. If you would like to watch it, it is in just a point that I feel like is, if you have a second screen and you're not watching the map stream, then you're probably missing out on the overall big picture.
Yeah, it is a very, very useful utility, I guess you can say, and really fortunate that we have it available for the viewers out at home. So either go twitch.tv/PEL_esports_map, or just, I think you can do !map in the chat as well. Plane number 1, though, pretty decent on the eastern side. Not the best for any potential western teams. I'm looking for 3D Max where they're going to be headed. They'll just take down the south side. Easy enough for them. Still, they're going over in the area of Chumacera. We'll get them looted up for us. Going back out west. And then Tarlans. They've been doing the split with Maga out on the edge a couple of times before. We'll see what they can get going here off of that split. It has worked out sometimes, but overall it's been tough for them.
Well, let's see who it's going to be for tough wise this time around. We've seen many the crazy circle, and this circle, it's not the end of the world. It's covering most of the teams in there. It most likely won't go down to the island in the far south by Los Higos, but I think teams won't complain too much about it. Obviously, we've got our 4 AK team who are always up north. Now, this time, though, Toby, they didn't go for La Cobria.
Yeah.
Are they rotating into it now?
They're going over there. They are going in that direction. We do see Nellis. Talked about Elgiganten wanting to come off to a good start, and they indeed got it. They at least got themselves the first kill. And then also yesterday, we said no one has yet to be killed while in a parachute. And well, in Silenzo, can you make it happen? Can you take down example? Long range VSS? Nope, not going to happen.
I love to see a VSS. I love to hear a VSS. I'm down for it. I'd like to see some more kills of it. We're missing our Finguin. He was the man always with the VSS.
Finguin with the VSS.
I don't understand why so many people get triggered by the VSS as well, because it can be a useful tool in there.
Indeed it can.
It's like, it gets a bad rep, but okay, yes, there's strong weapons you pick up for it, but situational-wise, you can bring it into your arsenal. Tap, tap, tap. He's doing some long-distance shots here in our mini screen below, but he's not able to take them out of the car. I believe that was onto Tornado coming out from Quickmath there.
Yeah, we see Washout trying to get himself looted up here as well. should be pretty easy going. Again, Moonwolf, they haven't really had a hard time rotating out of here. It's been all the times they've had to get back into the city again with multiple other teams going in that direction too. That's where it's been extremely tricky. Now we do see Mopsy and Stella looting up in the area of Chumacero. We talked about them before. Of course, also needing some good games. They came off really strong in the start of this week. Got themselves a first good 15-kill win on Erangel. Then also some somewhat decent position placements on Miramar too. But today everything's on the line, pushing down into 10th place. Still within reach. I think it's, 12 points up to 8th place right now. But they got to get things going. And most importantly, they got to stop getting knocked players early on.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing, right? Stella is a team that, yes, we can say it for every team. It's better when you have 4. But, I mean, when we do see a player go down early on, maybe a scouting player like, for example, Vac or Jambaway, who seem to be the first 2 to kind of be under pressure. If that happens too much, then I see this as like they really struggle to hold their own.
Yeah, that the thing is, things can pretty quickly spiral down. If you lose that first player, it's like, oh, what do we do now? And then all of a sudden, before you know it, everyone's eliminated, or you have a solo crawling around somewhere. But now, of course, Circle being somewhat sent on the southern side, should be pretty simple for everyone to rotate down. Swarm, though, far up northeast. How are they planning on doing this one? Do they go down on the eastern shoreline and try and come in south of Los Leones, or do they go all the way around the north, trying to make their way in from the west? They have both available, but should they decide to go west, I would assume for them to start their rotation real soon.
Now, the one I really want to look at here, right, is what Tarlans do. We've spoken about the split and how they've done things in the past. It's not been the most ideal for them. They have struggled at times, but overall, I would say that as a team, they've shown us, especially over the last week, that they can truly step things up here. Indeed. And I want to see that happen again. Miramar is when they start to come alive, right? That's where we started to go, wait a second, Tarlans, okay. So I want to see this to be able to come out of them again. And I just want, even if you're not got a chance so much to qualify, right? I want to see them give it their all at the end and make the most of these games.
That's going to be what they'll have to do. And also, I mean, we got to keep in mind that sure, they might not be getting to top 8, but there are other things to play for. We have the whole situation with do you skip that first week of the relegation matches down to the Open League? Do you even have to play the first week at all? Do you have to play at all in the relegation? Or do you go directly through? 9th place will get direct invite to phase 3 contenders. So that is a good spot to get to as well.
I think that's what Stella are either hoping to get back in the top 8 today by having some impeccable games, or ensure that they can get the job done and make sure that they can sit on that 9th place. Because considering how well and kind of overall positive it was for them throughout the opening week, things have really slowed down in a scary fashion for them.
Yeah. 3D Max on your screen. Nogi had some weird, I want to say weird performances because they're very unique, but he made the most of all of them. You saw the push coming in from them towards Se7en on your highlights just before this game started. And also they had a crazy thing going down on the forest side and southwestern side of the island of Erangel yesterday. But now 3D Max, this is their time to shine. They have been in the bottom for the longest of time, and we know they're one of those teams that can deliver when forced to. And well, I mean, every single game is going to matter a whole hell of a lot today.
And I need to go through this, right, and look at the results in a little bit more detail for 3D Max, because this last week's been better than anything we've seen from overall. But I mean, the amount of second, third, top 4, top 5 places they've had is surprising to see where they are now. That's where I'm really worried for them.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting seeing what they can do with everything on the line here. VG doing some early rotations coming in from Impala, going down on the south side. They've been down here before, of course. We've had plenty of games and down in this area. So the terrain should be known to all the players. And, well, now it's just going to be a matter of who makes the proper rotations and who gets to land those shots when they have to.
It is all about landing those shots. And again, when I come back to a team like Stella, that needs to be seen again. We cannot have them struggling out on these games here today. It's our final 4 matches. I can't stress it enough how important this is for so many teams, Toby. We talked about crunch time, but realistically, if you're waiting till the last day, then it's got to be like, what, top 4s the whole way through?
Nelas found himself an AWM early, and he's making use of it already. Got himself the knock off with it. Don't want to waste those bullets in trying to get the flush. Makes perfect sense. You only got 20 of them, and if you're playing Miramar, it's out in the open, you know there's going to be a lot of targets to shoot at late game.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit more careful when it comes to it. Moon tried to find some cover behind the car, but it's not meant to be. And also, none of his teammates were able to help him out, and it's not really worth them challenging for.
And keep in mind, that's the second kill that Elgiganten gets early on in this game. They got the one right off the bat, too, against, I believe it was Tornado Energy, right as they landed there. So 2 points grabbed down early. We know they're the team that are, if not without reach right now, then on the very edge with some of the other guys down there. So, as you say, I mean, every point matters, and if you get them rather free, as this one was as well, then...
As free as can be.
Yeah, exactly. If you can get them, let's say, without taking any casualties yourself, then that is perfect.
And that is the name of the game. As always, 4AK going to go for their last rotation in. They always like to do this across the blue and then gains themselves some ground. But again, when it comes to Miramar, it's always about teams fighting for this ground, because not many of them get away with just sitting up and just chilling out early on. Swarm, we've seen great games from them over the last week as well. They got 2 wins this week. They've looked a lot better. They had 1 on the previous as well. But again, they are still not within the top 8. And you can't stress it enough that winning is not everything when it's on a point system like this.
Yeah, you really do need those kills with you, especially when you have these situations where other teams... I mean, that's the issue being outside of top 8 right now, right? You can do as well as you possibly want to, but if the guys sitting above you keep doing equally well or even better, then it's kind of not in vain, but it's... You won't really get any result of your good performance. So clearly, you want to get that top off, even though if you don't get the placement, get those extra kills on its circle. Shift in south, keeps the west side of Las Leones in, but this is a hilly and somewhat open area of the map. You do go over to Chomacero, it gets a little more condensed with buildings and whatnot, but in the center of this, very open and a lot of roads crossing all over the place.
I think 3D Max are going to be incredibly happy with this.
Yeah, that's a good shift for them for sure. They can come up from the south side, they can make their way on up to the hills. They're already taking the plateau on the south side of the circle here, but the issue for them is, and pretty much as well as everyone else, with these open endings, everyone hugs down to compounds. It's pretty much when we see Vikendi every now and again, if you look at the map of Vikendi, even though there are even more compounds there, but everyone locks down to one position, and it's one of those you just have to sit down and hope that the circle's going to continue to come your way. Nelos, that's the 3rd kill coming in from him in the game already. Only person to get kills so far. Elgiganten, they're out hunting. It seems like that's 2nd player, I believe, from Winside gone down already.
Yeah, not the start they would have wanted here. They are comfortably at the moment still within the top 8, but those positions can quite quickly change around.
Very easily can those leaderboards be turned upside down. We've seen it so many times before where we're like, oh, this team is going to be safely into the finals. Then all of a sudden, they go out by just a point or 2.
Now, Quickmath here, looking to try and take a fight potentially with Elgig. Deeg's on the outside of the circle, playing it from the distance, which, in terms of what Quickmath are looking at here, they may think they have an upper hand, but it might not come down to that. And Zelenso working his way in, and he needs to be quick on it because the fight is already starting off. Savage is going to be lost straight away here for Elgig. And Quickmath, they've got a good position to play from. Nelos has been spotted out. Mise going to go in for the shot, spraying a couple out, but Nelos is there with that cover fire, playing his position perfectly.
They do not know that they have Deeks behind them, I'm pretty sure, so he could potentially play a bit of a spoiler here. Now Deeks does finish off Peltish, so that's going to be them knowing that there's a player behind, and 2OUO and his teammate, they should probably back off on this one. I'm not seeing them get a whole lot more out of this, despite the fact that there's still 3 guys up, and Silenzo ain't with them, and as you can see here, 2 and Misa do run back.
A lot of nades being used there as well from Quickmath, and in the end they will just back away. Sometimes that's just the way it has to play out. 7, we saw a pretty tough set of games from them yesterday, right? No real big placements, but they were still able to make top 8 in the sense of actually points because of kills. This time around, though, they're going to lose Buster instantly here, and there's no one close enough to help him out. The entirety there of 3D Max are all over him.
Didn't grant him the cover that he needed, and now Tornado Energy. We saw them lose a player just before. Millman has come down as well. That was in the beginning of the game. He was a very, very hard hitter, both yesterday and the day before when it came to one-man performances and the kills he managed to get for himself. Combat spots out one, but he's forced back. The guy said, come on, move back, move back. I know you can see them, but you cannot keep shooting like that.
Now, we saw this from Art of War. They've had good games, but it's not very consistent. They have some individual performances come out that look really strong, but today, it is truly a difficult day for them and what they can do, because it wasn't Miramar where they were truly coming alive. It was the Erangel games that were stronger for them.
That said, though, they do have 1 win, but I agree with you. They have 1 win on Miramar, from the first week, I believe. But that's pretty much all they've amounted to. We haven't seen them come back and get any other real good performances other than that one win. Then it would be 1 or 2 games, but that's about it of all the games they've played on here. So now we'll see with the circle shifting straight center once more. We'll get to see what's going to happen. As you can see here, the south side as well, so open. There's no one down there. And honestly, if you're PG or even Elgiganten at this point, you might just want to consider swinging all the way over to the west and come in from there.
Elgig are going to be thinking, okay, this is a different route we need to take now. But who can they cut off potentially on that rotation in?
The whole east side of this circle is completely open and extremely hard to play from. So if you're those teams sitting far out east, like even further out than where the new circle is, you're pretty much forced to go south, unless if you want to crash the center.
Now, Art of War won't have to move for a while. They've got Tornado close to them. They're not in a good enough distance to potentially be taking some fights against each other. Not any that would be beneficial, regardless. Moonwolf in a good spot as well. Quickmath got to find themselves back in. Obviously, they disengaged away from Elgig, and they've gone all the way up north. For us, we started to see some better games out of them yesterday, actually, as well, in terms of just killing. Can they turn things around? Because they are one of those teams that can also hop in and say, look, top 8 could be something for us.
Let's see, Deeks. Now more kills coming in for Elgiganten. They did lose a player just before, but I believe that's 5 kills for them already in this game.
Vinco having lost a player early on. Remember, Vinco and Tarlans are at the bottom in 15th and 16th respectively. But now it's more about them proving that they can have some of these good games.
You can see here, Elgiganten, they decided to not commit south. They are going to be trying to make their way in from this eastern side, and there's just not a whole lot of room anyway. Shots coming in from Nelos. Had that been with the arm, that would have been a knock most likely, but not quite the case.
That's the thing, right? Even in some of these compounds, they're quite open regardless. It just doesn't make it easy. It's not like a Ranga where you can bunker down in a house for a while.
Exactly.
You got to worry about some windows. There's whole areas of compounds that are open like big garages.
The main difference here being that when you're on a Wrangle, for the most part, if you go... Oh, let's just see here. Hold that thought. 2-0. Ooh, that's a hit by the vehicle. That's unfortunate when you want to have an engagement.
Rocky, does he know that? Has his teammates passes on to him? Ronnie's jumped out of the car and taken a bullet towards him. He's actually taking a bullet towards him from Art of War, so Quickmath found themselves the hut to fight from. Nades go out, and Havoki does avoid it for now. Ronnie's going to be picked apart by both Ensalenso and Resu.
2-0 needs to get some HP back up if they want to push this one. We've seen crazy things happen before, and the barrel up close is such a deadly weapon. You really, really cannot take anything for granted when going up against that. Deeks goes down, so despite the success that Elgiganten has had so far, they do lose a player, at least getting him knocked. New circle's gonna pop soon too, and you can see how far on the edge these guys are.
He's like, I'll save you.
Anywhere.
Oh, no, I won't. And the smoke comes down just a little bit too late there. 4AK still trying to find their way into the circle. They know how close it is. This next circle is going to go all the way up north, and it's going to be pretty nice for Stella here. We spoke about the game needs to happen. You saw that, right? Both back. He's got his teammate on his back with him, and they're straight away going in as a team. As Elgig, they may have been fighting from the earliest point, but they will be also our first team going out.
They got a lot of kills, and that's going to be what they'll be able to amount to this game. Misa as well, single player remaining for his team. Insolento is knocked on the other side of the road, and they've yet to make their way into the circle. This is going to be an extremely hard push. We saw that circle pop. It's going to go pretty center up in the northern side, and there's not a whole lot to play from if you don't have one of those few compounds.
And still, for these teams that are coming in from the east, it's just a real chaotic moment for them, as Vinco are one of those eastern teams, and PGA team were ready and waiting for them. The spray downs come in, and they are going straight down and out of it. Once again, Yannick Nemerov, they're getting the job done.
Yeah, great double peaks there, and great peaks like the way he engaged that fight by Nemerov, and peeking, getting the first knock, get back down, reload up again. I mean, just the way that he quick peeked those angles multiple times, really, really well done there. Misa, they know that he's in there. Havoki, you can see next, he's sitting above, wants to be the eye in the sky, but there are only 2 players alive too. So how much can you really commit to this one?
Yeah, that's it, right? It's the risk versus reward, because they can't really flush him out just yet. Hidrick looking at these rotations go on in front of him. He's keen to try and take some shots, but we're going to watch Quickmath go down next. And Misse sat in the house waiting for it to happen, basically, because Havoki knew where he was from the start, and he was certainly surrounded by the rest of 4AK.
4K has to run on forward. You saw Art of War just above them, and you have Tornado Energy just above them, so it could potentially be a three-way fight that neither of these teams would want to take far on the edge of the circle here.
Now, when you're looking at what Winside are doing here, right, we see that they already struggled. They lost a couple of players early on, but they've got a lot of space here overall. They're being shot at by 4 us, but they can move around still. They don't have to worry about the fights going on beneath them and down in the south. If they can try and survive out this, or 4 us get distracted maybe by Moonwolf as an example, they might be able to just hunker down and wait until a little bit later on.
Let's see, Desperado, they're sitting in a position that, I mean, shouldn't be played from, to be honest, but they don't have a whole lot of other places to go to. They're on the edge of the circle already, and they've gotten themselves in a deep, deep dip. The thing is, you can see here, they're under pressure by PG-18, but every time they shoot, 3D Max shoots down towards them, so that could be a bit of help coming in. As I say that, though, 2 players gone down immediately, and Fake and Cold are all by themselves now.
He's again able to tag him up, but he can't frag him up just yet. He's just taking shots at everyone. This is heaven for PG-18. It's like, this is more than just third partying. This is being in a great position, still waiting to push in the circle, but you have eyes on everyone, and you know behind you is completely safe.
Yeah, circle is pushing in, though, and as you can see, Emerith and these forced into vehicles. Yannick is going to go down. A bit too much for him there. Calder goes down, gets finished on off, and now Fake is all by himself. What can he amount to here? What more damage can he do to PG-18?
Solo Snake, but the nades are coming out towards him, and that's very close. That's going to get the job done. Desperados go down in 13th place, but 3D Max, they bided their time here. They're waiting for it, and they're up on the hillside shooting down now onto the remaining 2 players here for PG-18.
And look at the aggression from 3D Max. We rarely ever saw them engage in these third parties until there was absolutely nobody left remaining. So nice to see. They know they need points. They know they need to do something here. And they have a chance to get some kills, but they need to do it quickly because this circle has shifted north and they have a long way to go.
And Winside, they haven't had to move too much yet. They are still included in it. But 4 us do know where they are. Moonwolf right on the edge of it all as well. Do they want to try and take a different position going into this?
Issue with this compound is that should the next circle go up into the hills or even across the road over to the other side, there's going to be practically no way in hell they're going to make that push. That compound is so excluded from anything else. You have a solid 150 meters on all sides with absolutely no cover. They know he's down there. Nemerith.
Deez is looking at the top saying, okay, I can hear what's going on. There's not really much I can do. I've got 1 grenade. Maybe if I could chuck that up just in time, it could work out.
Deez needs to
Watson.
He needs to pull off a hero play in order to save Nemerith there. Spots 1.
He's like,
Spots 2. Spots 3.
Timing. Emoji being sprayed down. First one is hit. They don't know where it's from. Lots of damage being done here. Deez tries to hold on. He gets himself a second, but how much more can he do? He's trying to barrel down. He falls down, and it's not going to work out for him. He will be finished off, and PG-18 will find themselves being eliminated. A very good attempt, but this terrain is not easy to play like that on.
That was a very, very valid attempt from Deez there. You see BenQ now trying to do similar things. Use that off angle. Surprise element coming in his favor. Does get himself 1 knock. Havaki now has to make the run on up, but as you can see here, they're under pressure. BenQ just turns away from him. Who's not expecting it at all? He goes down, and there's no way he's going to get rest here. You can never turn your back like that.
That is not the way you want to get it done. Art of War go out in 10th.
Still 9 teams remaining. 2 tough rotations yet to make for teams, and we're not in placement points just yet. Moonwolf, gotta give him kudos. Still 4 guys alive. Ooh, Molman takes 1 there. It's going to leave him knocked, but should be able to get rest on up once more. The only thing is they have their energy pushing in. There are only 2 players remaining in Example and Kofest, but we've seen what the CIS team can do even when outnumbered.
Now, one thing to point out, I did say Tarlans were eliminated. They've still got 2 alive. They still are up and in it. So Margus found himself being knocked down, which is less than ideal. Stella, though, within the top 8 nearly. They've got just 1 more team needs to go down for them to get the job done. Mobesy's looking around.
There's still 1 to go, but they want to get the rest on up towards Molman before they do anything here. Wise decisions being made by Stella.
Mobesy's just checking every corner. You see him. Left, right. Check around him. Make sure you can see it all.
An example, I mean, he's just chilling. They're pretty much qualified already, but the more damage he can do here, the better for him.
It's all that waiting game, and Tornado are right on the edge of it as well, as they will find themselves getting eliminated. Example goes down, and Stella staying strong. They finally made it to top 8 again.
Yep, Circle sent us up once more, and Center sounds good theoretically because everyone's close to the circle, but this one is forcing everyone out into the open, other than those two teams having the compounds down in the middle of it. So Swarm, tough push for them to make here, and still as well.
This split from Swarm is huge, but are they too far out in the open? You've got two players pushed up closer towards Stella, but also in shooting range of Moonwolf, as Occo finds himself getting a knock. And then they've got Broken and Drone here in the back lines trying to get the job done. They're already going to lose out on one.
The thing is, their positions both work, but you cannot play either of those two positions with 4 people. You simply would take up too much space, and you'd always leave one vulnerable. So they're pretty much splitting the only 2-2 way they could in this position. And with Edelweiss having high ground control and still now being able to focus down on them instead, it's going to make it real tough for them to do anything. Frank gets a good run-in headshot on towards Broken, and Drone and Aaliyah now into up one.
Frank looking for the spray down as well. He wants that finish off to come in. He's got Edelweiss with him as well.
He has to move too, though. Circle's already closing on in. You can see Edelweiss is inside the circle in a shack, but again, these positions, you can't play 2 people from them.
Oh, Edelweiss trying to land those shots onto Vac in the vehicle, charging in. The Swarm players are going on foot, and there are some smokes down. Alea does manage to get the knock onto Vac, but instantly they find themselves under pressure from elsewhere. Edelweiss able to tap into more of the Stellar players. They've had to leave this compound, and they are getting slaughtered.
The church worked. The church was great, but it wasn't great enough. Stella's going to go out in 8th place. Unfortunate rotation for them, but it did not shift in their favor in the end of things. And somehow, sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, you can pray all you want, but it's not always going to help you if you can't avoid those bullets, if you can't fight back. And okay, it's a top 8 for Stella, but again, not what they would have wanted here.
Gotta give it to 3D Max, though. Still 4 guys alive. They have a good spot in the circle. As I was going to say, they are on the far eastern side, and now they're getting naded. So that's not at all either a good spot. All 4 guys alive.
Hidrick trying to avoid the extra bullets coming out there for us. Chiming away. They do have Winside shooting onto 4 us now, though, so they've given themselves their own compound to fight from here, and Winside have made the best of a very bad situation.
Yeah, actually, I thought the ridge line that they're at here went a little further down, but clearly not the case. Moonlight now, solo player remaining, shooting from afar. He's going to go down in return, but they managed to get the knock on towards Noki. Now, they are all inside the circle, but where in the universe can they go for here? The only thing they can really hope for at this point is that somehow Force gets shifted out of in this circle.
Shaxi,
nowhere to go.
Look. Yeah, it's just so tough. He's like, okay, I can see everything around me, but where are these other teams going to go? And that's the thing for us now. Yes, you've got a great position, but you also need to keep an eye on who's getting that close to you, because there's a great 2-2 split here from the Moonwolf players.
4 us have sat up here since Circle 1. And they sure do seem happy with the shift here. Winside as well, gotta give it to them. They're sitting down there close to elimination, and
they were out in the open hiding behind a vehicle.
They're grinding every single placement point they can off of this position. They saw that 4 us committed to the one on the southern side of the road, and they said, you know what, that's fine with us. We'll just take the one on the other side.
Yeah, thanks for giving us this one. We appreciate it. You've literally saved us.
Yup.
Because if they had to move that run on, there was someone in the compound. Most likely, they would have run into a team that has more players than they do.
Yeah. Interesting thing here is, though, how do Moonwolf play this one? They can push up towards the wall on the west side of the compound. I think that's why we saw Mithralius just go outside, because there are no windows in the building on that side, so they could sit from there and play, and Phantom just shot his teammate.
Why? Just why?
And he's not in the circle anymore.
Are they just allowing themselves to go down?
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So they did 9 kill points.
Yep.
You know what? I can respect that.
Especially when it's 4 us, who are also trying to climb up at the same time. So anything you can do there is a positive. 3D Max will just go out in 5th.
The thing is, for 3D Max right now, they're in such a desperate need of points. And even more so, they're in such a desperate need of other teams not getting points. They're actually, I would say they're actually excused in doing this, because there was no way in hell they were getting anywhere out of here. They'd been used their smokes years ago, and now Moonwolf, you see, they pushed up, they committed to it, but nades are coming in their way.
And this is what I was scared for Winside, right? As soon as the team does pull up on them, and this is a pretty healthy team, 4 players alive, and okay, they got 1 player knocked, they're going to get themselves healed up, they got time to work with, but how are you going to deal with this? Because if you keep barreling out all these nades, you're going to be using too many, where Moonwolf are just hiding under cover.
Gotta give it to Se7en as well. Somehow they keep getting that one guy sneaky peekingly inside the circle. They have 2 alive this time around, Frank and Edelweiss. And you never know. You can see Mithralius and them. They're getting really aggressive and trying to get the info here. That could just leave them exposed towards the 7 players.
I want to know in Se7en's mind what are they planning to do here, right? Because are you going to wait to strike? Are you going to keep the element of surprise? The element of surprise makes the most sense, but we know how aggressive they do like to be.
I mean, they're covered right now, and there's still one more circle to shift somewhere, which will then determine where that last circle will be. So maybe they're just hoping that it'll go out west towards them, because then they have at least something to play around. No vehicles, no utility, they just have to lay low.
Now, Winside do have 3 kills already. Octo going to get spotted out there. A bit of damage chimed in towards him. Edelweiss, though, being knocked out by 4us.
I like the position from Washout here. Look at this play. That's an off angle if I've seen one. Now he's going to nade his teammate.
It's like, thanks, guys. I was in a great spot there. Then you take away half my health.
That's unfortunate.
Still more nades being chucked in. Edelweiss will be finished off eventually by Shaxi. He just bled out slowly. Frank's going to keep it proned and ready, believing he can make it further into this top 4. Question is, when will either Moonwolf or Winside completely commit to this? Everyone's being a little bit more passive on it.
See Washout, there you go. The angle did come into play, and it worked out too, and that's going to be the boom out as well. Nates and Denethor. Well, Nates go on towards Denethor, and it takes them out. And for Elgiganten right now, in Moonwolf, they can stay put. They're still alive, but they have 4 guys on the other side of the road that are trying to keep them from crossing.
And for us, they want to try and capitalize on this and maybe catch Moonwolf off guard. Mitralis moved across the road, but he was under fire. Larza comes around to give him some backup, and they're at least able to get the first knock in. Can they bring Wash up out? But it's not going to work. 7 have gone down as well, so that's now just these 2 teams left alive.
It's going to be real tough. Moonwolf, though, we talked about them yesterday and the day before and how they've stepped up their performances, and they're continuing to do so. Elgiganten, what a hell of a headshot coming in there.
He manages to fire back while being headshotted. Shaxi's going to go in for the finish off. He's wanting to get the job done. There are so many of these Moonwolf players on the floor now. Resu running away. He needs to stick in and stay alive. He's the final one in the smoke, looking to bring Okko back to life. And Lars is just cruising around. He can't see anything through this smoke, but is he going to try and push it? He's waiting. He's right on the edge. It's just like, are you there? Oh, he throws out the nade. This is brilliant. Forces him out. Lars gets the job done. 4us get the win, and they do it with 9 kills.
That was a smoke he threw.
Oh, it wasn't a nade. That's a huge
braid in the universe.
That is next level IQ plays coming in. Because the moment you hear that pin, right,
Clink.
you think,
yep.
uh-oh, we're going down. This is it. The nade's coming. And they just rushed out of that.
Yeah, I mean, in